That's Uncle Bert.
When it's your 90th birthday, people come to you. They sit next to you, bring babies to you. You pretty much can have your cake and eat it too.
Happy birthday to you.
I got more than one cake. I got 2 cakes.
Dear Mama.
To earn all of this attention, Warren Pierrotti has lived every moment of all 90 years. Born in 1923, Warren grew up in Mamou, Louisiana, often revered as the Cajun capital of the world. One of 6 siblings, his first language was French.
When I started school, they started beating me. And then I stopped talking French and started talking English.
So they were beating you because
I spoke French.
After grade school, World War II came calling. He enlisted into the U.S. Navy at 18 years old and trained outside of Tampa, Florida. His accent quickly earned him the nickname Frenchie.
Probably of all the people I knew in the service, not one knew my real name.
One of his first duties, helping a Navy officer with a surprise assignment.
Frenchie, you're going to take over this platoon. I said, I'm taking over the platoon. I said, I don't know the first thing about what you were doing. He says, I left the instructions on the table, and you're going to babysit them like I babysit y'all.
After training, the Navy assigned him to this ship, the USS Phaon, a vessel responsible for repairing other ships damaged in the war. These are pictures of the actual ship and his crewmates. That's him during a ceremony crossing the equator in the Pacific.
The first year and 8 months, I never got off the water.
For 4 years, he served as an engineer, gunman, and cook. But his fellow sailors knew him most as the man who could brew a special drink called torpedo juice. Many of his pictures include him holding a cup of that so-called juice.
It was so strong, it would come out 220 proof.
War wasn't fun. For years, Warren spent many sleepless nights dodging bullets and bombs, losing many good friends. He especially remembers one air raid. His commander was surprised Warren survived it.
He said, Frenchie, you're not hurt? I said, I don't think so. He says, when you're going to realize how many bullet holes were around you, you'll know you're the unlucky son of a bitch.
There were also close calls on land.
And at night, we'd bury ourselves in the sand. You can think of a million things when you're sleeping in that sand, knowing that if that dog sniffs you, you're a dead bird.
Nightmares and flashbacks tortured him for years.
When I came back from the war, I never told anybody, and it never was a complaint. I was almost crazy.
Do you think it was just stress from the war?
Oh, I know it was, because in 4 years now, after I got married, 4 years later, I began being able to sleep.
After the war, Warren returned to Mamou and met a young woman named Helen Latour, who he soon married. A congressman appointed him as the postmaster of the small town. He and Helen raised 9 children in this modest 3-bedroom home. In 1972, their 5-year-old daughter, Missy, died after a driver hit her crossing the street. Right when he thought he'd retire after 30 years at the U.S. Post Office, his wife had other plans.
She came to me and said, you know what you're going to do now? I said, no, but I have an idea you do. She said, you're going to run for mayor. I said, I'm not going to run for mayor.
But he did, and won mayor for 16 years. In 2001, Helen passed away. She and Warren were married for 55 years. Any person fortunate enough to know her knows Warren was one lucky man. According to Warren, though, the Lord had another woman in mind for him. Her name is Diana Bergeron, a beautiful lady, 16 years his junior.
She's much younger.
Yeah?
How did you manage that one?
Well, you know how it is. Once a dog, always a dog. I guess I just hit her in a weak moment.
These are necklaces. These are barrettes.
So far, 46 grandchildren and great-grandchildren share his bloodline. Some of them so young, they won't have an opportunity to go on one of his famous fishing trips, attend the annual October hunt with him, or hear stories growing up in the greatest generation. For them, he offers this advice.
One thing you can put down in the machine. If somebody wants to live reasonably happy on earth, they have to have a spiritual life, or it won't ever happen.
Wisdom worth hearing and raising a glass to.
The Warren Pierrotti, 90 years old.
For a man we're all grateful to know and love.